What's up, guys? Welcome back to another video. If you're new here, thanks for tuning in. If you're returning from an old video, appreciate you coming back. Today we're talking about tuning my Tacoma, specifically the OVTune. So let's jump into it. Desk is so dirty. So there's three main parts I want to go over in this video. The what behind the OVTune, the how behind the tune, and then the why behind the tune. So I'm going to link down below the different timestamps for each of those if you want to jump around. But let's start with the what. If you own a Tacoma at all, you probably know what the OVTune is, now known as VFTune. Way back when the Tacoma came out, the third gen with 3.5 liter, specifically the auto transmission. If you drive one, you know how bad it is. There was a gentleman who just took his knowledge in tuning and mapping and basically took the really bad stock tune and just made it way better. So he came out as Orange Virus Tuning. He started selling just a kit through his website, and it took off because everyone wanted to change how their Tacoma was driving. And Toyota did release some TSVs to fix like the delay off launch and all that good stuff, but ultimately it's, in my opinion, just a poor driving experience. And granted, they made it the way it is to get good fuel economy, but some of us just want it to be a little faster. And we know it's a truck, it's not supposed to be some crazy fast supercar, but we do want it to be an enjoyable ride. So that's what OVTune is. There's multiple versions of it now. And like I said in the beginning, he's actually transitioned into VF tuning. So it's gone through a lot of different changes, added new features here and there, and it's turned out to be a really good, reliable product. And it's really easy to use if you're a tuner, and it's really accessible to go to if you want to get your truck tuned. So I'll get more into the how in a little bit, but that's what OVTune is. Next is the how to actually go about getting your truck tuned. And I do want to preface, I'm not speaking to this from a perspective of like being a tuner. I'm only speaking to the perspective of taking my truck to a tuner to get it tuned, and kind of the process I went through to do that. There is definitely a whole nother route you could go of purchasing the tune and the tune package through VFTune and doing it yourself. It does require a Windows laptop, I know that. But again, I'll just be going through my perspective of taking it to a tuner to do it. So huge shout out to Paul, PNW underscore Tundra. I drove down to Portland to get my truck tuned, and the process was super simple. So he actually posted on Instagram saying like, hey, I can tune Tacomas, doing the OVTune, just meet me basically in Portland and we'll get it done for X amount of dollars. That's typically what most tuners are going to do nowadays. A lot of tuners I've been seeing are doing like meets, so tuning meets, which is really cool. So you just get a bunch of Tacomas that come together and everyone pitches in to get their trucks tuned, and they just have a good time while they're doing it, which is awesome. You can find a tuner through a lot of different routes. Tacoma World has probably hundreds of forums on it. I often see them in Facebook groups, as well as just those posts out there on Instagram. Some more on how to actually get your truck tuned. It is mostly all in the hands of the tuner. So when you get there, there's typically a pretty standard process they're going to go through. They'll ask you a couple questions about like what you're experiencing now with your truck, how it behaves, how it drives, is it hunting for gears, stuff like that. They'll ask you like what size tires you're on, if you're on stock gears or 488s, 529s, which is all pretty, again, standard stuff. So then there are different tunes out there. So for example, there's the 87 Performance or the 91. I actually went with the 87 Performance tune just because I wasn't quite ready to commit to that 91 octane. But that is another perk of some of these tuners is they might give you like one free reflash if, for example, say you get gears down the road within a certain amount of time period and you want to come back and reflash the new tune to better suit those new gears, they can do that. The entire process took less than 10 minutes, really. It's pretty quick, especially if the tuner knows what they're doing. You should be in and out. The ECU does get reset, so it will reset the memory on like the transmission and your driving habits. So the truck does have to go through a process of relearning how you drive. So typically takes about 500 miles, which you could consider that 500 miles a bit of like rough driving, but trust me, you'll get used to it. The truck will get used to the tune and relearn how you drive, and it'll just be a way better experience. I will jump in here and say I'm going to link anything I'm talking about or referencing down in the description, whether that's the OVTune, VFTune website. VFTune actually has a forum all about their product and how to do it, some basics, FAQs, and then I'll link the mega forum on Tacoma World, as well as Paul, his Instagram. He's the one who tuned my truck, and hopefully that gives you guys a good place to start to either know more about the tune or maybe explore going and getting your truck tuned. I think the last part to this is kind of like the why, asking yourself, why should you tune my truck? Why did I tune mine? And it all comes back to the drivability of the Tacoma. After you put bigger tires on, after you add weight, it just becomes this slug. And it wasn't fast to begin with, again, I'll preface that. But when you add this gear, when you add this weight, when you add bigger tires, you're going to lose torque, you're going to lose miles per gallon, and it's just not ideal. With the OVTune, that all basically comes back. So you gain that torque back, you gain a little bit more horsepower. It's nothing crazy. It's not like putting the truck on the dyno and cranking out as much horsepower as you can. These tunes are designed for like maximum compatibility, efficiency, etc. So putting that tune on there, like I said, it just kind of makes the truck more drivable. Most people are going to report increases in miles per gallon. It's not guaranteed, depending on a lot of different variables like driving habits, how much weight you have in your truck, a long list of just variables. So I did see an increase in miles per gallon. A good example is the trip to actually go get the OVTune put on. I went down to Portland, so down to sea level basically, and all highway driving pretty much 70 miles an hour. I averaged 14 miles per gallon on the way down there. After I got the tune put on the way back up, I averaged 17 miles per gallon on the way home, which is crazy, to me at least. And again, I have 33-inch tires with the weight of a bed rack and a rooftop tent. So it's pretty amazing. Another point to add to the why, for why OVTune, is shift points. This one was probably the second largest to me outside of the pedal response. Shift points are just improved drastically. Hunting on the highway is no more. It doesn't downshift to fourth to get you up in RPMs and bounce back and forth between fifth. That was so annoying, and OVTune definitely fixed that. Just shift points around town are greatly increased as well. It stays in gear longer, and so you kind of really get to feel that torque. As well as it definitely helps with miles per gallon as well, because it shifts when it needs to. I get right at like 30,000 RPMs and I shift into fourth gear, which is like cruising around town speed, which is perfect for me. And then the next part of that is on the highway, when I need to pass someone, it responds immediately now. I'm sure you know, we used to put the pedal down and it just wouldn't go. It's kind of like turbo lag, even though we don't have a turbo, which is dumb. But now you put the pedal down, it knows I need to downshift and go, and that's what it does. You feel a drastic change, and you can pass people with confidence now, which is Great. I will add one more point to the why about the OVTune, and just in kind of comparison to some of the other products out there that alter the pedal response. I'm not going to throw any names out there because I haven't personally used them, and this is just my own opinion. But I do think the OVTune is going to compare way better to some of those products, where those products are just basically amplifying the pedal in a way. So it's not actually changing the mapping. It's just ultimately multiplying the amount of force that you're putting into the pedal. So it makes it seem like there's a better reaction, which is exactly what it does. It increases pedal response, but the OVTune is going to give you so much more. It's going to give you that miles per gallon back. It's going to give you that a little bit of torque, a little bit of horsepower, as well as that pedal response. So I would definitely weigh those options if you're looking at those. To close off the why part of this, a lot of people ask, did I think it was worth it? Absolutely. I think hands down it's worth the tune, or the money you spend to get the tune. I was looking at the OVTune when it first came out, back when you had to purchase everything on yourself and kind of do it through a laptop. I just wasn't quite invested at that point. I didn't really feel like I needed it. But as soon as I saw like the ad, I guess, from Paul, I was like, man, this sounds like a perfect opportunity. It's the right price. And I'm super glad I did. I wouldn't go back even if someone paid me to do so. I do want to go over some just frequently asked questions that I see in forums or that I get asked. To start, is the tune safe? Absolutely. I shared earlier, these guys are doing rigorous R&D and testing on their own vehicles to ensure that their versions they're delivering are safe and functional and that they're going to work how they're expected. Next question is, what type of fuel should I use? I see this a lot. There are octane specific tunes, like I mentioned earlier, 87 versus 91. So VF Tuning does recommend that you use the octane that is listed in your tune. If you want to change it, you'll have to get it reflashed. I think the next one I get asked the most is probably, will this void warranty? Or basically, can you see this tune on the ECU? The answer is no. While this product is technically developed for off-road use, it is not detectable on the ECU. So if for any reason you were to take your truck in and I don't know why Toyota would be looking at your ECU, it would still read as stock, so it doesn't show that there's a tune on there. And no, it doesn't void warranty. There's been probably thousands of cases now of Tacomas getting tuned, and they've had no issues at all. Another question is, can I go back to stock? Absolutely. This kind of comes back to the whole reflashing. So if you change gears, if you go up in tire size, you can reflash just as easy as you can reflash back to stock. So if you were worried, for example, in the last question, that maybe your warranty is going to get voided or that they'll see this for some reason, if you want, you can flash back to stock. Last question that I get asked a lot is gears. Do I still see the need, do I still have the want to get re-geared? Whether that's 488s or 529s. And I definitely still want to. I think prior, I definitely had the mindset of that I'm going to get tuned, I'm going to get gears, and that's just going to be like the ideal situation. Now that I have the tune, I think gears can wait. I'm really happy with how the truck drives now after the tune, and I still want the gears because I still want that low-end torque back. Plan on adding more weight, so it's technically the drivability is going to get worse moving forward. So down the road I will get gears, but I'm completely happy with how the truck drives on just the tune. I do want to throw in some clips of just driving the truck around, just to give you guys some insight into how it kind of behaves in like driving up a hill, 0 to 60, 0 to 40, situations like that. So the first clip here is a pretty steep grade, where if speed limit's 55, it actually goes down to 40, but I do try to keep the speedometer right at 55. And if you drive highway around that like 60 to 70 miles per hour range, you know how bad the Tacoma hunts for gears. Perk of the OVTune is that's pretty much going to go away. It doesn't really hunt for gears anymore. You can see in this clip, it's staying at like 3,000 RPMs, and it's not jumping up or downshifting. It's really in the sweet spot, and that's how it is on the highway as well. Next clip is like 0 to 40 miles per hour on a dirt road. This is not full throttle. If I did do full throttle, I'd probably spin the tires. But you can kind of see just how responsive the pedal is, and that's the biggest plus to the OVTune, is just that pedal response. And then this last clip is on pavement, 0 to 60. I'll probably put a timer up on the screen just to show you, because I'm sure you guys are interested. Again, weight in the rear, rooftop tent, bed rack, and then bigger tires. And I wish, this isn't in this clip, this is just a random day. I did, quote unquote, race in Mexico, a stock untuned Tacoma, same size tires, and I absolutely blew them out of the water. It was pretty insane what the tune does. So yeah, guys, that's it. That's the OVTune. That's all my thoughts on it. Again, all my opinions, except maybe some of the FAQs, but again, can't recommend it enough. Thank you guys for watching the video. If you stuck around this long, I really appreciate it. Consider giving it a thumbs up. Maybe share it with some of your friends who are considering an OVTune or just curious about the topic in general. I will include links to any forums and the OVTune site down in the description, as well as if you're curious about anything on my truck or off-roading gear or film gear that I use, I have affiliate links down in the description. I do earn a small commission from this if you buy or even if you click, so it helps the channel out. I get to pump that back into what I do to create content and ultimately get more stuff out to you guys. So again, I really appreciate it. Hope you guys have a great rest of your day. See ya.